Welcome, guys. What's up? It's your girl, Miami Tip, and we are live with the book club, okay? I'm going to begin with today's positive affirmation because y'all know I like to set the tone for the night. The positive affirmation is I am getting better and I'm feeling stronger every day. I am feeling inspired and I want to take this energy with me everywhere that I go, okay? The reason that I chose that positive affirmation for today is because last week I went out, last Wednesday. I was hosting a celebrity basketball game here in Miami. And that night we went to the after party. I was very in control of my drinking, which I was so proud of myself for. Because if you don't know, I am working on my drinking. I just did 90 days, no drinking, to be able to get to the point where I can control it. So that was one of the first instances that I went out and I was being tested. And I was very in control of my drinks. I probably had like 4 drinks. And we went to another after party after the after party. Bruh. And I was in a section and there was a step there that I didn't see. And so I stepped down from the couch to the floor and I must have jumped really, really hard. And I sprained my ankle. I really thought that I broke it, right? So I couldn't walk. But the crazy thing is, I guess because I was drinking, I was in the moment and my anxiety, I still partied the rest of the night on this sprained ankle and I could feel it, but it wasn't that bad. I went to sleep, woke up the next day and my ankle was like this big. I couldn't walk. The pain was crazy. So now it's F1 weekend in Miami. If you guys don't know what that is, it's a really big racing weekend and it's like we make a lot of money. You know, y'all know I do bottle service. So it's one of my big weekends. So I'm like, oh my God, this cannot happen to me during F1 weekend. Like, I literally couldn't walk. So I'm like, okay, it's Thursday. I don't have to go to work till Friday. So maybe if I just wrap my leg, ice it, you know, I should be able to walk. Come Friday, I couldn't walk. So at first I was feeling like, damn, I'm about to miss all this money. I was feeling bad. I was feeling down. But then I told myself, you know what? At first I was like, you know what? That's God telling you, girl, you should have went home. You got to know when to stop the night and you shouldn't have been drinking. But then I'm like, I really was controlling myself. So I was really happy that I was controlling myself. So I was just like, you know what? It's something that I'm supposed to learn from this. And then I was thinking like, you know what? I'm not at work and I'm not in the madness of F1 weekend because maybe I would have went to work. I would have got drunk. Maybe I would have been drunk driving. Maybe I would have been around people I shouldn't have been around. Or, you know, a crazy incident could have happened because I was drinking or because I was turned up. Anything, whether it was drinking or not drinking, anything could have happened. So with that being said, with that energy, with me putting that, you know, reframing my brain, I sat this whole weekend and I was happy and I was excited and I was at home and I did work from home. You know, I wrote some more of my book, which I wouldn't have done this weekend if I was working because I would have been sleeping and then working all night. Then I wrote a little bit more on my script. I did some more storyboards for another project that I'm doing. So I was real productive from home, doing things that are going to help me get to where I'm trying to go. So that's why I chose that affirmation for tonight, that I am getting better, I am getting stronger, okay? I'm feeling inspired, and I'm going to take this energy everywhere I go because it's really important that we retrain our brains, we reframe our mindset. You know, a situation that you might think is negative, you got to reframe your brain to turn it into a positive. So this way you're not looking down, you're not sad. I'm not at home. I could have been at home depressed, just in the bed, just mad at my ankle and really not getting any work done. You know what I'm saying? But because I reframed my mindset and, you know, back in days, a couple of years ago, I wouldn't have been able to do this. I wouldn't have even thought to do this. You know, so it's really big for me, and it's really important for all of us to always, you know, when something is going wrong, just know that through every, you know, negative situation you're going through, that there's a lesson that you're supposed to learn. There is something that's maybe God holding you still for you to think or do something that you wouldn't have been doing if you were just moving around going crazy. So God is always going to sit you still, but you have to listen. You have to listen to be able to, you know, receive the message. And so that's why that is our positive affirmation for tonight, okay? This is my cute onesie. Obviously I got my faja on underneath. I am the friend that 9 times out of 10 will have her faja on. You feel me? This one is called Equality, and you can get this onesie from Stay Fly in My Sleepwear by Miami Tip. I will click the links below in the description. So if you want to purchase this onesie for yourself, you can get it. Stay Fly in My Sleepwear by Miami Tip. Also, if you guys do not have my book, The Bottom Line, it is available on all major book platforms: Amazon, Kindle Books, Google Play, Barnes & Nobles. Anywhere that you can get books, you can get my book, The Bottom Line. You can even get a signed copy. You feel me? You know what? Just click the link in my bio on Instagram at MiamiTip305, and you can, if you want an ebook, if you want a paperback, or if you want a signed paperback, the link is there for you, okay? The Bottom Line is a book written by me. It's an anthology based on 10 different women from 10 different walks of life who end up in the strip club. Some make it out the game while others get swallowed up. Sex, drugs, greed, and envy is all a part of this crazy game beyond the pole. But through all the bullshit, the money is and will always be the bottom line. Okay, y'all make sure y'all get my book, The Bottom Line, available on all major book platforms. So you can click the link in my bio on Instagram at MiamiTip305. Okay, this segment of the book club is featuring Portia Day. Portia Day's book is The Diary of a Former Sex Addict. This is the book that we started last week, and we will be reading for the next 2 weeks with an interview, a live interview with Portia Day on the 4th week. So y'all stay tuned for that, okay? Last week we started the book, The Diary of a Former Sex Addict. Well, first of all, let me introduce Portia Day, okay? Portia Day is from Philadelphia. She is known for her erotic poetry. She's also written 5 books, including The Diary of a Former Sex Addict, The Diary of a Former Sex Addict Part 2, and she has a children's book, The Widow Duck, okay? I love all my authors. Shout out to all my authors. Y'all make sure y'all tune in with Portia Day on Instagram and her social medias at Thick Nubian Goddess, okay? Now, the sex addict we started with, it started with a girl named Tiffany who was getting raped by her uncle. Her uncle is her mother Brenda's brother. Her mother Brenda, was informed that her daughter was raped, and she didn't believe her daughter. That's where we left off at. The daughter Tiffany was in the hospital. The dad, John, shot the brother who was raping his daughter. Because he had a feeling. He came home one day in the middle of the day. They didn't think he was coming home. He came home and he shot his brother that was raping his daughter, Tiffany. The mom, Brenda, was kind of like a hoe. She was growing up fast. Her and John got together when they were younger. John, looked like he had a bright future ahead of him. But Brenda came and messed that all up with her toxic thinking. I'm a firm believer that a lot of people are toxic, or the way they are, the way they think, it comes from their background and how they grew up. So I'm really eager to see how Brenda grew up. Hopefully we get to see that so that we can understand her mindset and why she's so ignorant. And I really want to understand everyone. But we did get a little whiff of John and his background. But we left off where Tiffany was in the hospital and the police was telling her mother that she got raped, and Brenda is not believing her daughter for some odd reason, okay? So we are back on, I'm going to read the last paragraph of the last chapter that we left off on, and then I'll get to the next one. A security guard interrupted Pat's rant to tell them to keep it down or they will be escorted out of the hospital. Brenda walked up to Pat and whispered to her, "None of it is true. You understand me, bitch? You're not taking my daughter." Brenda walked away and left the children's hospital. Pat looked at her niece and nephew who sat in the waiting area with tears flowing down their eyes. Vanessa and Little John are Tiffany's siblings. Little John is only 2 years younger than Tiffany. "Where's Mommy and Daddy?" Vanessa cries. She hugged both of them. "Everything will be okay." Pat took them home with her for the night because she knew Brenda was going to be missing. Pat is Brenda's sister. Brenda is Tiffany's mom. Tiffany is the one who got raped. Brenda does not believe that Tiffany got raped, I guess because, through growing up, Brenda was fast her whole life, so she felt like her daughter took after her, and Tiffany had a couple of instances that made, for whatever reason, Brenda feel like she can't believe her daughter. Brenda, this is the next chapter. Brenda took the L train to see Robert. He was waiting for her at their favorite spot, a little no-name bar. Brenda knew Robert would have her lines of cocaine waiting. Brenda went right in snorting the coke using her lucky dollar. Brenda then demanded straight shots of E&J. Fuck all of them, Brenda thought. Todd is gone. John killed my brother. He will rot in jail for this. My mother is at Misericordia. My mother is at Misericordia. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's a word. And if that's a word, I've never heard it before, and I have to look that up. Hell nah, I'm not going to let them fuck up my high, Brenda thought as she tried to calm the voices inside her head. So, now this just showed us Brenda left straight from the hospital. Brenda left straight from the hospital that her daughter was at, where she was getting accused of, her daughter was allegedly raped, or, told her that she was raped. And Brenda left from the hospital to go to a bar to meet a guy. Brenda left the hospital to go to a bar to meet a guy after her daughter just told her she was raped. Okay, so now Brenda's at the bar doing coke right after she left the hospital where her daughter who just got raped is at. That is crazy. Hey, baby, got any more coke? Robert lays out another line. Baby, you feeling all right? I got word that... Shh, let's go. Brenda commanded Robert before he could start in with all his questions. That was the last thing she wanted to hear, was what somebody had told him about today. They left the bar and went back to Robert's place. Robert lived in a shabby apartment on top of a corner store in Southwest Philly. Brenda and Robert had history. When John worked overnight securing the docks, Brenda was having an affair with Robert. Brenda suspected that Robert was her son's father. She never received a DNA test to confirm this. John accepted him and never asked questions. He just wanted to be under the illusion that his wife wasn't as fucked up as everyone says. Brenda had not seen Robert in years. He was locked up for some fraud shit. She didn't know exactly what he did and didn't care. Brenda knew he had her fixed and doable dick. Once they entered the apartment, Robert put on his stereo to the Quiet Storm on radio station Power 99. Brenda immediately started undressing. Cocaine really did a number on her. Cocaine really did a number on her once coke bottle shape. But that didn't stop the show. The best head giver in town, she named herself. Robert wasn't much of a looker anymore either. He was a high school football legend. He lost all his muscle tone but gained a beer belly. Brenda pulled out Robert's semi-hard penis and started sucking on it like her life depended on it. Robert started moaning and shaking. He had to sit down on the bed. Brenda got on top of him and started riding him hard. They looked like two sticks creating a fire. Okay, next chapter, Tiffany. Now, Tiffany is the girl that is getting raped. During her stay at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, Tiffany attended individual and group therapy. Pat spoke with the doctors. The doctor instructed Pat to give Tiffany more time to heal. Brenda didn't care anymore. She decided she didn't want Tiffany in the house. Tiffany's therapist, Dr. Stacy, gave her a composition book and a pretty fluffy blue pen. If you don't want to talk to me, talk to your diary. Tell your story. Write it all, Tiffany. It will help you release the pain. Tiffany looked at her in the composition book. Will this really help me? I mean, you want me to tell my story so you can read it and tell me? Tiffany asked. No, I won't read it, but one day you may look back and see how far you have come, Dr. Stacy pointed out. Tiffany wasn't fond of the children there. Some of them were straight weirdos. Some of the kids were rich and wanted problems. Dallas is faking for attention, Tiffany thought as she started to think about the other children in the program. Dallas was from some suburb. Her parents wanted her to have the best treatment. All she did was yell, kick, and scream. They need to beat her ass, Tiffany thought to herself. Uppity black folks, as her grandma Mabel would have called them. Only one that was cool was Mark. Mark didn't talk during the group either. We both would just sit in the back staring at all the other fools. Now this therapist is giving me this journal, saying it's going to help me. This pen is cute though, Tiffany thought. For my birthday last month, Aunt Pat took me and Kiki to see Clueless. They had cute pens like that. Maybe I'll start writing in this journal tomorrow and see if it really helps. Mark came up to Tiffany at group therapy. I'm going to be going home soon, Mark said. Tiffany nodded at him. Mark didn't talk much, so for him to say anything to her made her feel secretly special. Mark didn't look like the kind of boy who should be in here. Tiffany often wondered what his story was. I mean, why would this fine-ass boy be in here? He looked so perfect. He was brown-skinned and tall. Mark had the prettiest curly black hair and a mustache. He has got to be in high school. Mark sat next to Tiffany on his last night at Children's Hospital. Tiffany smiled the entire session. She even said hi to the other children in the group. After the group, Mark walked Tiffany back to her room. "I'm Mark." Tiffany smiled. "I know." "This was my third time having to stay here, but I'm finally getting adopted by my uncle," Mark explained. "They put you in here for getting adopted?" "No, I sometimes have a problem, but I'm better now. I'm going to play ball for the NBA." Mark performed a shot with an imaginary basketball. Tiffany laughed. "How old are you?" Tiffany asked. "I'm about to be 15 in September. When do you get out of here?" "I don't know. I think soon," Tiffany replied. "I'm from West, but I'm going to be moving to South Philly to live with my uncle. Call me when you get out." Mark wrote his number down on a piece of paper he took from his journal. Tiffany giggled and took the paper happily. That night, Tiffany looked at her journal and decided to write her entry. "I don't know if I'm doing this right, but here it goes. Uncle Todd started raping me about 2 weeks after he moved in. I stayed home from school. I had a stomach ache. Brenda and Daddy were at work. Grandma Mabel, as always, was downstairs on her rocking chair. He came into my room while I was laying down. He told me to be quiet. I asked him what he was talking about. His pants were down and his thing was out. I got scared. I asked him not to do it. Uncle Todd told me that I was a bad girl. He had been watching me and he knew I wanted this. He pinned me down and I screamed, but he wrapped his hands around my neck until I passed out. When I woke up, my vagina was hurting really bad. I got up to go to the bathroom and saw blood when I wiped myself." Tiffany started crying until she fell asleep and she couldn't finish the journal entry. She dreamed it was her mother shot by her father that night instead of Todd. Tiffany woke up in a cold sweat. "Damn, do I hear her that much?" She got up and went to the bathroom. Tiffany could hear her roommate Jennifer talking in her sleep. "Please stop, Daddy, please stop," Jennifer kept saying in her sleep. "I can't wait to get out of here," Tiffany whispered to herself. Tiffany was released from the hospital. She stayed with her Aunt Pat and Uncle Jake. They lived on a nice block called Cedar Avenue by Misericordia Hospital. Okay, so that's where her grandma was at, the hospital. It's called Misericordia Hospital. We're going to call that the M Hospital. Pat kept Vanessa and Little John the night before, but Brenda came over raising hell to give her back her children. Brenda told Pat, "You can keep that bitch Tiffany." Vanessa and Little John were happy to see their mother. "Where's Daddy?" asked Vanessa. "In jail where he belongs," Brenda screamed and threw both children in Hackman Ricky's station wagon. Tiffany watched from the upstairs window in Kiki's room. Kiki had her own room and TV. Her twin brothers shared a room with bunk beds. I had to share a room with Vanessa and Little John, Tiffany thought. We all had to share one bed. Often nights, I would just sleep on the floor. Vanessa would pee to bed sometimes. Brenda would expect me to wake up to make sure she goes to the bathroom. I'm not her damn mother, Tiffany thought to herself. Grandma Mabel had given her room to Uncle Todd. That's when Daddy really had it with Brenda and Grandma both. He wanted Uncle Todd to stay in the basement. He really didn't want Todd to come at all. Uncle Jake is a firefighter for the city of Philadelphia. Aunt Pat stays home and raises the children. I know Brenda is jealous of that. Brenda is jealous of Aunt Pat because her daddy took care of her. Brenda and Uncle Todd's dad was killed over a dice game down the bottom, Grandma said. I remembered Uncle Jake wanted Daddy to be a firefighter too, but he failed due to his knee injury. Brenda stabbed him with a knife in the right knee. We were all downstairs with Grandma. Daddy came home late. Brenda was pregnant with Vanessa. I was 8 and Little John was 6. Where the fuck you been? Brenda asked John, holding a kitchen knife. Brenda, hold on now. I told you I was taking Paul's shift tonight. We need the money. Brenda started walking up on John. You're lying. You fucking around on me, huh? Brenda knew damn well she was the one fucking around. That she was pregnant with Derek's child, John's first cousin. John has barely touched her since he caught her in the bed with Toya. She swears no one knows that she goes both ways. Toya was ugly to me. She had real short hair and was fat. She tried to sound like a man, telling Brenda that me and Little John would move with her down south. Yuck, lady. I remember that night Daddy caught them in the bedroom. Daddy came home early from overnight work. I heard him coming up the stairs, so I waited to open my bedroom door. The next thing I heard was, "Who the fuck is this?" Daddy yelled. I opened my door to peek, and I saw ugly-ass Toya come out the room in men's boxers. Tiffany chuckled to herself. She goes back to thinking of the night her father was robbed of a promising future. John started backing up into the porch door, but Brenda ran up on him and was aiming for his balls. But he threw his right knee over them, and Brenda stabbed him deep in the knee. John screamed and pushed Brenda down. Tiffany ran in the kitchen and got paper towels. She put them over her father's knee. Little John started crying. Grandma Mabel just sat in her rocking chair, rocking back and forth. Brenda got up from the hardwood floor and called the police immediately. "I'm pregnant and you put your hands on me?" John didn't respond. He had passed out. His big break from becoming a firefighter was over. That is the day Tiffany truly started hating her mother. Blood was all over the floor. The judge threw the whole case out in family court. Daddy had to go to physical therapy for months because of Brenda. Kiki stared at Tiffany, wondering what she was thinking about. "Tiffany, what are you thinking about?" "Nothing. We gonna listen to Monica?" Kiki threw on the tape. The girl sat on the white carpet listening to Monica and reading Goosebumps till bedtime. The next morning, Aunt Pat called Brenda on the phone. It took forever for someone to finally pick up. "Hello," Mabel answers. "Hello, Mom, is Brenda there?" "Yes, but she doesn't want to talk to you," Mabel explained. "Mom, we have to go to the police station." "You believe that bitch Tiffany?" Aunt Pat was not surprised at the response she was getting from her mother. Mabel can't stand Aunt Pat. Aunt Pat was raised by her father Nathan and his wife Carol. Mabel only had visitation rights to Aunt Pat. "Mabel, you know Tiffany can't be making it up. She wasn't even born when Todd was locked up." "That's enough out of you, Patricia. You can take it to the cops yourself. You hear me? Always trying to break up the family." Mabel hung up on Aunt Pat. Aunt Pat slammed the phone down. "Damn it. Shit, I'm glad my father didn't allow me to be raised by her. She's a horrible mother. She never wanted to admit Todd was a rapist. He raped his girlfriend's daughter while she was pregnant with his child. The horrific deed caused Todd's ex-girlfriend to lose her child while trying to commit suicide. I was there the entire trail. He was sentenced to 15 years but was released for good behavior. Todd went to counseling while in the halfway house as part of his release. Mabel put up her house for Todd. Aunt Pat pulled herself together and called Tiffany down to the kitchen. Tiffany came down and sat down at the table, something her kitchen didn't have. Brenda sold their kitchen set when she went cocaine benching. "Yes, Aunt Pat? We got to go to the station about your mother." Tiffany rolled her chinky brown eyes. Why am I not surprised? Okay, this is still an ongoing chapter, but for time restriction reasons, we got to cut this short, okay? So, now, Tiffany's in the hospital, and they're keeping her there, and she gets a therapist. The therapist gives her a journal. Still, Brenda doesn't believe that Tiffany was raped by her brother Todd, and Aunt Pat, who is Brenda's sister, who was not raised by their mother Mabel, that the mother Mabel hates or has a problem with, she is trying to, get control of the situation, console her niece, and make the situation better in any way possible. She knows that her sister, Brenda, is a piece of shit, and she's just trying to keep the kids away from her sister, especially Tiffany. Like I said last week, this story is a story, and this is something that happens every day to our young girls across the world. And this is definitely something that needs to be brought to the forefront, because this book can help many young women that are going through this, because there's probably a lot of young girls that feel like they're the only ones going through this, or this doesn't or hasn't happened to anyone but them, whether it's their father or someone, a male in their family that is raping them or taking advantage of them, and they have no one to talk to. This book is really, really good. The Diary of a Former Sex Addict by Portia Day. I'm really excited to really keep reading and unfolding. We have 2 more weeks of this book. Okay, in the 4th week, we will have an interview, because I have a lot of questions for Portia Day, and I know that you guys do as well. So if you have any questions from the book club, make sure that you guys DM me on my Instagram page at MiamiTip305, and I will make sure that I include the questions in the interview. Okay, The Diary of a Former Sex Addict by Portia Day. Y'all make sure y'all follow Portia Day at the Thick Nubian Goddess. Okay. Now, if you are an author, an upcoming author, or an establishing author, and you want to feature your book on the book club, okay, make sure you email me at sincerelyoursproductions@yahoo.com. sincerelyoursproductions@yahoo.com, or you can DM me on Instagram at MiamiTip305, or you can even comment below this YouTube live. Okay, you can put your questions in the comments, or you can, if you are an author and you need me to reach out to you, or and you want to submit your book for the book club, you can comment below, okay? Another thing is, if you are an author or you're someone that has a story and you don't know how to begin to write your story or get your story from your brain to the books, okay? I have 2 ebooks. They are called Tips from Tip. One is the Writer's Motivation, which will help you get started in writing your story, getting it from your brain to your book. And there is a independent publishing edition, okay, that helps you, write your book, get it formatted, and get it published yourself, which is how I started doing my book. I self-published. If I didn't self-publish, I never would have gotten started, okay? So do not doubt yourself. There's a way to get everything done, and you have to start in order to elevate and in order to grow. So you can get my ebooks if you click the link in my bio on my Instagram. I will also leave it in the description, okay? And you can get my ebooks, Tips from Tips, that will help you start your journey to becoming a best-selling author. You feel me? Okay? If you do not have my book, The Bottom Line, okay, it's available on all major book platforms, okay? Google Play, Amazon, Google Books, Amazon Kindle Books, Barnes & Noble, okay? Anywhere that books are sold, you can purchase my book, The Bottom Line. It's an anthology based on 10 different women from 10 different walks of life who end up in the strip club. Some make it out the game while others get swallowed up. Sex, drugs, greed, and envy are all a part of this game beyond the pole. But through all the bullshit, the money is and will always be the bottom line, okay? I really appreciate y'all for tuning in. Again, if you liking this cute little onesie, my equality onesie, it's available at Stay Fly My Sleepwear by Miami Tip. I will also leave that in the description below. If you are not subscribed to my YouTube page, please click, follow, and subscribe right now. You feel me? We will be back next week, Sunday at 9 p.m. for the book club, featuring The Diary of a Former Sex Addict, written by Portia Day, okay? Let me leave y'all with the positive affirmation to keep the tone of your night leveled, okay? Every day I am getting bigger, and I am getting better, and I am getting stronger, okay? I am inspired, and I am taking this energy with me everywhere I go, okay? Make sure you guys, it's really major that anything negative that's happening to you, reframe, retrain your mind to think of it in a positive way. Any negative situation, there's a lesson to be learned, or it could be God trying to keep you still to send you a message, but you have to listen, okay? I appreciate you guys. This is the book club. Love you all. See you next week.